Hey Kevin, how are you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you, Andrew?
I can't complain. I learned that you are about 20 miles outside of New Glarus, Wisconsin, which is one of my favorite small towns in America. So I'm a little jealous you get to enjoy that beautiful countryside.
Indeed, I do. Yeah.
So from your isolation in Wisconsin, what do you do in the craft beer industry?
Yeah. So I'm somebody that's dealing with beer in North and South America.
And what will you be talking about at the upcoming virtual conference?
So I'll be talking about some interesting applied research that we did recently. First, kind of in the development of some new products of ours for bacteria, but then also how those bacteria interact with the wort and how the application of these different types of lactic acid bacteria actually transform the environment, and how when you apply those in kettle souring, it can actually affect the environment so much that you can suppress or exemplify different characteristics in the yeast.
Fascinating. And how long have you been giving similar talks like this on sour beer production? Are you seeing more demand for these talks over the past few years?
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, I see growth of sour beer production. It seems to be, in my mind, kind of not necessarily a replacement or in between fruit-based fermentations and beer necessarily, but it's more appealing, I think, to larger audiences than necessarily just a really hoppy beer, really wort or malt-driven beer. Um, I've been talking about sour beers now for a couple of years at least. I don't even remember when I started talking about it, but I made sour beers 15, 17 years ago, so I have some experience in it. I think it's fascinating to learn more of the science and how to adjust depending on if it's heterofermentative or homofermentative lactic acid bacteria, but then also how that kettle souring can affect the alcoholic fermentation downstream.
And I'm sure you're going to go over a lot of tips and strategies during your presentation on the 20th. But what's one little teaser you can give? Maybe it's like a strategy for success or a little advice you can throw out to everybody listening today.
I would say that there's two, if I can do two.
You can do two.
So we have a homofermentative bacteria that actually complicates the media that POF positive strains don't express phenolic character, which I'll talk about. And then with the heterofermentative bacteria, simply by having oxygen present or not present, you can affect the acids and the amount of acids and ratio produced.
Well, I'm excited to get a deep dive into this on the 20th. So, Kevin, I appreciate you being willing to present. Hope you enjoy the beautiful afternoon in Wisconsin, and I'll see you in a few weeks.
I thank you.
Cheers. Bye.